Hello, Aquarius. I am doing a self-love tarot reading. These are the wrong cards. These are general messages. If it doesn't resonate with you this week, please come back next week. Maybe I can help you then. These are self-love messages designed for Spirit to showcase areas where we might be letting ourselves down. That happens sometimes, and it's okay. It also showcases areas where, we need to be more authentic with ourselves. Part of self-love is self-acceptance, and it's hard to accept parts of ourselves that we're not really willing to acknowledge. I do a 6-card spread, Aquarius, and then the 7th card I do is Spirit Message. I shuffled a bit before, but I just wanted to do one more. But then it wasn't very good, so let's do it again. Might as well just shuffle again. Oh, there we go. Just had to sing. Okay, so like I said, I do a 6-card spread, and the 7th card is Spirit Message. The first card is how you feel or where you are. The second card is something Spirit wants you to prioritize. In the third position is something that Spirit says, you might have decided for yourself, I don't have the time or energy to deal with. But Spirit's like, gotta deal with it now. In the fourth position is going to be something that Spirit wants you to acknowledge to be more authentic with yourself. We're all multifaceted. We all have different aspects of ourselves. And the more of those aspects that we acknowledge and accept, the more complete we are as who we're supposed to be, like towards our purpose, right? In the fifth position is going to be something Spirit wants you to let go of. In the sixth position, it's going to be something that Spirit wants you to acknowledge. It might be something in your environment that you just didn't recognize or didn't know was from you, for you. And in the 7th position, like I said, the Spirit Message. So, Aquarius, right now, I see that you are not dealing with some sort of feelings. Good job. We have the 8 of Cups here, and it says indolence, and indolence is your unwillingness to deal with something or feelings. The funny thing, though, is, Aquarius, I'm really sorry to tell you this, you're walking away from these 8 cups, but because you're under the moonlight, you don't notice that you are actually about to fall into an ocean. When we choose not to move forward, we tend to bottleneck energy behind us. The universe is trying to move us forward, but we're not getting there. And so what ends up happening is, we end up getting farther. We end up getting pushed farther than we intended to be pushed in the first place. If we had just dealt with the situation then, it wouldn't have progressed or snowballed on us, right? Dang. In the position of what you need to prioritize, I feel like there's sorrow here, right? Yeah, it's okay. It's not okay. It's sad. I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry that this is, you have these feelings right now of something you can't deal with. Like something is overwhelming, probably. Oh, but what the universe wants you to acknowledge is that there is success in this situation. Whatever's going on, there will be success, or there is success. I see a lot of material success. So maybe what Spirit is saying right now is that you need to deal with building your material success because it's in this position of what you have maybe put on the back burner, or you're just not giving yourself enough energy in. Spirit's saying that if you're not going to acknowledge these feelings of sorrow, just put all that time and energy into earning your coin. Spirit is saying that in order to be more authentic with yourself, what you should acknowledge is this opportunity for new stability. It's just an opportunity, though. It's sitting in front of you. It's available to you, but maybe you haven't noticed it, or I think you have because it's in the dealing with it part. But you have to take it. It has to be something that you choose for yourself. In the area that Spirit wants you to let go of is the 6 of Cups. Now, traditionally, this is like reciprocal energy in a relationship. However, here we see this card that says pleasure. If you're not going to deal with these feelings, you might also have to let go of the sense that you will find pleasure in a situation, Aquarius. Dang. And then in an area that Spirit wants you to acknowledge, something that you might maybe in your environment but you haven't realized it's for you, is this sense of virtue, okay? Maybe you are learning something from this experience that is going to lead to more virtue. Now, all kinds of things can be virtues. A virtue is like a category of things. Patience is a virtue. Bravery is a virtue. Thrift is a virtue. There are a lot of different things that is a valued trait, right? Spirit message for you right now, Aquarius, is power. Okay, so I see here that like you're gonna have to deal with whatever this is. That's it's a self-love message. They're designed to help you deal with things. So you're gonna have to deal with whatever this is. But I do see that this is gonna result in you coming more heavily into your own power. The Four of Pentacles. Traditionally, that's that fourth pentacle that you need to build your solid foundation, right? And here, what it is, it's you in your own power. That's perfect. Okay, so I kind of see this as like really open and shut. I don't want to downplay in any way your experiences or your feelings, Aquarius, but I do see very clearly here that you are not willing to deal with something that has to do with sorrow. There are 3 swords in the sorrow heart, so it could be like a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. It could be that you lost someone very close to you, and that would hurt a lot. It would be hard to deal with. But I'm seeing that you have to stop focusing so heavily on the sorrow. You're gonna have to deal with it, and dealing with it means like, you know, actually prioritizing it, making it something that you work through. If you're already in your head about it and you're already overthinking it, like really think about what happened. Was there anything you could do to change the situation? No. Was there anything the other person could do to change the situation? Probably not. Was there anything about the situation that you want to repeat? Again, probably not. Find whatever went wrong or find whatever happened. Acknowledge those things. Take that with you and let the other parts go. Focus on your success, okay? So universe is saying there is an offer of stability somewhere around you, but you should reach out for it and take it. We're acknowledging here that there is an opportunity for you in your environment. Oh, I'm just rereading all these cards. Silly Billy me. Let's clarify. So right now, universe is saying you're in this stage where you're just not willing to deal with something. This could be like a habit of yours. Yeah, because that's what this is about. If you're in the habit of not acknowledging feelings and dealing with them, then it's entirely possible that you came from that background. You could have been in a family where people have, you know, beef or there's tension, but people don't talk about it. You know, like maybe your mom caught your dad cheating and she knew, like for 20 years, she just never said anything, but she was always kind of resentful to him. You see that, and even though we know it's not the right way to deal with things, it is what we know and what we tend to fall back on. So universe is saying that you need to get out of this behavior because it didn't benefit you in the past, it's not benefiting you now, and it won't benefit you in the future. But if you can flip that around, then, you know, your habits are going to be better overall, more positive. Yeah, so I think this is super important. I really like this. I like these two came out at the same time. Okay. When we let go of something, it's hard to figure out how to replace that thing. Okay, so let's say we grew up in an environment where people don't acknowledge their feelings. So then it becomes hard for us to figure out how to acknowledge our feelings. We believe that we are a person who doesn't acknowledge our feelings. And in that way, we create a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm a person who comes from a background of not acknowledging my feelings. I'm a person who does not acknowledge my feelings. I can't acknowledge my feelings. If we learn to do things in a different way, we have to let go of the old way. And what can be very scary is if I let go of this, who will I be? I remember thinking the exact same thing, Aquarius, about my anger. I say it all the time. Anger can be a huge motivational force. It really can. I moved across the world. I moved all the way to the other side of the country. I finished my master's program. I went on a study abroad to Shanghai, China without knowing a single word of Mandarin. I did my master's program. I took internships. You know, I got as far as possible away from who I could have been and ended up just somewhere completely different. But I had no direction. I was just purely going off of anger. So here, if you're in this place where you don't you know, you're not used to it, but you're trying to adapt to it. I think that actually, guys, kind of would go to a system of belief, right? One of my sisters tends to believe that crying is not useful. It's not helpful. There's no reason to do it. Okay? For her to integrate that into herself, to realize that crying has a purpose and we can do it when we feel the need to do it, would be for her to acknowledge that weakness that she believes, that she believes that crying is weakness, that crying shows weakness. That's a system of belief that comes from our parents. And that's something that she has to work on, okay? But you integrating that, being vulnerable with your partner, might be something that you see as a weakness, or you see as unnecessary, whatever it is. But if you integrate it, universe is saying that you will still be you. You don't have to be afraid. It'll just be you with better habits, more you serving habits that serve you better. For the sorrow, universe is saying you have to go ahead and address this, okay? If it's on your mind all the time anyway, think about what went wrong. If it was something that, like, really you couldn't control, like the universe, like maybe like a family member died, that was what I mean, unfortunately, death is part of the cycle, right? And that might have just been the person's time. It's fair to feel loss, but remember that you exist here and now, and that person does not any longer, and that person would not want you to ignore the here and now for them, okay? No one would want that for you, and if they did, well, no one would want that for you. So if it's something that went wrong, if it's something that you lost, you know, just give yourself time and space, like, to really think about what happened and how you've grown or you've changed, or you wouldn't deal with that again. You would give yourself emotional space from the situation, because that is what's going to move you into joy, into having this joy, feeling joy. Sometimes when we're sad, you know, we can't feel anything else. Sometimes we can't even feel the sad. Yeah. This is going to bring about more of your energy, more of that positive Aquarius energy, okay? Moving towards or moving away from the sorrow. It's okay to be sad about things. Don't worry. It's okay to be sad about things, but we can't dwell in it. We can't live there. So moving away from that is really going to be helpful to you to honor your own energy. Because when we're focused on that, we're not focused on what's in front of us, right? Focusing on the present is going to help you honor your energy. Universe says, because you're in the sense of not willing to, because you're in the Eight of Cups. If you're in this energy anyway, you're just not going to deal with it. You might as well focus on your pentacles. Like, start growing your success. And then to clarify success, we got the abundance again, okay? So I think now is a really good time for you to be working on your success, whatever that means for you, okay? This is going to bring about new beginnings. Yep, and again, the universe is saying there is some kind of brand new stability in your environment, Aquarius. Go ahead and take that. Go ahead and just put your time and effort and energy into growing your pentacles. You know, right now you're in this Eight of Cups, but like, we could move through that and really grow into the King of Pentacles. We could be somebody who can nurture ourselves. I think that would be important for you. Yeah. Focusing on this pentacle, focusing on your success is going to help you move more into that self-love. Sometimes, you know, we really need to build confidence. And confidence, I think, can come from inside. Yeah, it totally can. I've learned self-reliance, and that has given me a lot of confidence. But sometimes confidence can come from outside of us too. You know, when we move up in a position, that can give us confidence. When we're praised for our work, that can give us confidence. Those are fair things to, you know, gain confidence from. We don't want to gain confidence from other people telling us that we're attractive or we're smart or things like that. We don't want them to, like, assign value to us, but to recognize our value is fine. That'll bring us more of that integration, right? Integrating more of, like, who we know ourselves to be, or who we want ourselves to be in the future. I'm just going to adjust these really quickly. Universe says that we have to let go of this sense of pleasure, okay? And I think this is just like, sometimes when we overthink things, we might actually get pleasure from overthinking those things, but it doesn't make those things real, okay? Universe is saying we need to let go of that pleasure. Move towards things that are good for you, okay? Move towards things that are good for you. I love this picture. It's like kind of like a bullseye. I think that as we move closer to who we are and closer to our purpose, that's that triangle in the center. And every time we choose ourselves or we level up in our ascension, we just get closer and closer to our purpose. So letting go of this sense of like whatever made you sad, you know, will make you happy, or hopefully you're not in like a situationship where like something ended but you guys are still like fooling around and it's really hard to move forward, because that would just be not ugly energy, it would just be unfortunate. I think with letting go of the sense of pleasure, or letting go of the idea that like things will still, or good things can still come from this, that you are going to come into more contact with your own sense of intuition. And your own intuition is literally just your ability to hear your own body and what it needs. Universe is saying right now that there is virtue here, that you are maybe learning a virtue, you know, patience, possibly forgiveness. Oh, that's a word, piety. No, never mind. But you're learning some kind of virtue. You're gaining some kind of virtue here by learning to deal with things, or learning to, you know, cope in healthy ways. So like maybe you did lose somebody, Aquarius. Maybe, you know, someone passed on, and there is so much sorrow. I mean, you can't live there. I'm really sorry, but like you can have time to mourn, and then you have to get up and live through yourself. But if it's really hard to move away from that sorrow, universe is saying, hey, why don't you redirect that energy towards your own success? Because there's that offer of stability for you. And in that way, you're learning this virtue of like being able to move on from things. And to clarify that, we have the grounding, okay? So one way we can gain a better sense of self is to ground ourselves. We can go outside, we can spend time in nature, we can spend time alone, we can spend time meditating, just doing things that feel really right for us. Also, this ability to move on might depend on divine timing, right? I always think of divine timing as like some kind of download, some kind of realization, epiphany, or maybe even something that somebody else says to you, something you hear somewhere else and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I think what's happening now is that universe, I think you're going through a lesson, okay? Like a stage, a lesson. You've come out of this tower, and the lesson here is to redirect this focus and this attention, because that's going to help you come into your power. That's how I see all this, Aquarius. Yeah, like I said, you're going through a lesson right now. The universe is teaching you something about you're gaining a virtue, and this is going to help you transform. Okay, Aquarius, that's what I have for there. Let's just do a really quick recap. Even though I did like 6 of them as I was going, I just this is very straightforward to me, so it was really easy to follow. Thank you for that. Right now you're in this energy where universe is acknowledging that you're not acknowledging some kind of feelings, and it probably has to do with sorrow, some kind of loss, some kind of heartache, okay, because there's 3 swords in that heart. Universe is saying that right now you're not prioritizing that, and since you're not prioritizing it, I mean, you should, but since you're not, go ahead and focus on your stability, on your pentacles. That pentacles, that sense of stability, was clarified with abundance, my material abundance card. The universe is saying that because also maybe you aren't acknowledging these emotions, you might also not be acknowledging, so see, here you are in your head, right? Here you are in your head thinking. And because you're so in your head thinking, you might not be acknowledging that there's this Ace of Pentacles available to you. So coming out of your head will help you with that too. I don't know if you get pleasure from like thinking about things that make you sad. So like maybe you broke up with somebody, but you like to think about the good times and you get pleasure from that. Or maybe you are getting still physical pleasure from that. But whatever universe is saying is you need to let go of that sense of pleasure. Whatever was attached to it, you need to let go of that. Because you're learning virtues right now. And this virtue has to do with you coming into your own power, which is great, Capricorn. This is just one of those things I think that you have to ride out, right? Try to be mindful of what's going on around you. Try to possess like a positive attitude. I don't know if you ever watched Carmen Sandiego, but she used to say a good explorer always investigates his or her surroundings. Okay, so if you're going through this lesson right now is a prime time to keep your eyes open. Try to come out of your head more. When you notice that it's happening, try to bring yourself back down, because if you're not focused on what's going on around you, you can get lost, right? We don't want to get lost. We want to come into your power. So really try to deal with this sorrow. But if you're not really inclined to do that, focus on your abundance, because right now is going to be a lucrative time for you. You just have to come out of your head enough to see that pentacle that's being offered. Aquarius, if you need any help with this, my email address is in the box below, and so is my Instagram. Go ahead and email me. I'm doing pre-recorded readings right now because my schedule is just real wonky, okay? I hope that helped and that you have a good day.